8 points it actually was. The ball goes through, that game ending Sri Lanka 21-29 for UAE in Colombo, Sri Lanka.
Yeah, apologies. That's the second round, UAE and South Korea, 38-36. Very close it was.
Well, just looking at the rugby, that is Asia Rugby Emirates Championships, as Namibia now have to restart the game. Strong showings in some matches, dismal showings in other matches. Really had a mixed bag of results. UAE beaten by Hong Kong, China, 10-43, that was in Dubai. And then managed to edge out Korea, 36-38, as a chance comes up here. Trying to break the lines here. Namibia looking to get back in. Chicken wing pass here to get the ball still in motion. Resilient they are. Namibia, the Belvicher, getting onto the ball once again, looking to exploit space. But that was brilliant defensive play from United Arab Emirates, just positioning themselves appropriately, not flooding, not giving any space, and not being suckered in.
Yeah, the UAE know that you can only tackle the man with the ball, and they kept their eyes on him. The captain, Prince Koseb, carries it to contact hard. The man on the outside didn't use them, and that space was covered almost immediately.
Release, instant. And getting it on now, this is the burger. On here for Shigenmaya, trying to get the ball away. Rolling here, it looks like it's human debris all over the place. Setting it in motion, player. It's Max Katejiko getting into a bit of a hard hit here. Now right down the middle, but unable to open up space. Arne Jasveld gets the ball away on support. Danko Baga setting it loose, quickly releasing here, and they try to break all the way. And it's a try for Namibia, once again responding in typical fashion.
That's a good response from Namibia, and all started on the restart. Mentioned that Namibia's restarts are really, really good. They kick it short, go up in the air contest, and from then they build the faces. This is a proper team try. At the end of it all, it's the forwards combining with the backs. Look at Danko Baga at the breakdown, but he has his forwards with him, and then the big man just crashes over. Miss tackle in the middle there, you will be punished. Danko Baga with Prince Koseb, and then the ball goes out. Richard Hartwig made the knock-on earlier across the side, has come back, redeemed himself with a try.
Well, thought about passing that ball, but in that instance saw the space in front of him and determined that he had enough in the tank to get him across the line. And now Namibia have an opportunity for the first time to probably take the lead in this game. Goes for the kick, and this time it will count. And so Namibia now in the lead, 12-10, real end-to-end stuff. Anything one team can do, the other can do. At this point, if it stays with this kind of play, it's a question of who can outlast the other.
Yeah, this is a good game of rugby. The conditions are harsh, to be honest, but the UAE are used to such heat. It's the humidity that's going to be a challenge, and same as Namibia. But this is what we want to see. The teams which came just second, their opponents, Hong Kong and Zimbabwe, went direct. Now these ones have a chance to fight for a space, for a place in that final qualification tournament.
Spinning ball there from that restart, and now trying to edge themselves out of their 22. Richard Hardwick keeping hard palms with that ball. And Prince Koseb here manages to get the ball away as they go to the ground, trying to carry it forward. Intricate play here from Namibia, but UAE not giving up anything. UAE must have been given the notes here, and will have to realize that defense will be extremely crucial as you face off with the highest scoring team in Africa from the Rugby Africa Cup. 104 points they accumulated in the tournament from the 3 games played. Plenty of those coming in from Shat 15, Clive and Lobser, 35 of them. Question is, can they actually keep it ticking? Lobser having about 3 games and only had 1 try and 1 try assist, but 35 points. That should tell you a ticking boot he had.
Yeah, was kicking beautifully. The conditions at the Rugby Africa Cup just last week, it was wet, it was windy, it was a bit chilly. Now it is hot, the skies are clear, and it's dry. So this is a better conditions for the kickers to play with.
Well, there's another scrum here set to come through. United Arab Emirates here have a chance to regroup and restart. The precedent between these two teams and the continent, well, does not tell a very interesting story for United Arab Emirates. They have never won a game where they've faced off with a team from Africa. 3 games they've played and not a win in their column. While Namibia will hope that, well, fate continues to play on their side because they've consistently been going to the World Cup. But even more importantly, they have never lost to a team from Asia. 2 games played, 2 wins they've managed to achieve.
These two continents don't usually play rugby against each other, but at this point, the stats might not matter much, to be honest, because you're facing 2 teams at different times. Namibia just fell on hard times, to be honest, and are now trying to regroup and see if they can go for their 8th successive Rugby World Cup. UAE, on the other side, have been knocking at the door quite a number of times. Last year, they finished 2nd in the Asia Championship. This year, they've come even closer. So one team is on the up, the other one is on the down. Interesting times.
The attack, here comes Namibia. Velvicha trying to use their brawn and physicality to just get them towards that 22. And now the breakaway is on. It's a good instance. And instantly going in for a try. Torsten van der Jasveld gets it across the line. Van Jasveld with some exemplary breakaway. That is absolutely rugby intelligence in there. Just managing to get himself to that line. And Namibia pulling clear by a whole try and a conversion.
Van Jasveld needed to be patient. He threw a good line out, goes to the back of the rolling maul. It splits the side, but the forwards stay bound. And when we saw that window, when Andrew Sempo beat in and tried to contest at the maul, Van Jasveld looked up just a bit, saw the cover going in for that maul, and the door opened for him. No one was going to stop him.
Well, you have to say, very smart play from the scrum half, AJ Kins. Just gave him that tap that let him know that was his window of opportunity. And the way he peeled off, well, literally left no chance here for the United Arab Emirates. Now, a chance to convert. Goes for it. Ooh, painfully close there for Andre van der Berg. But for the moment, it will still keep them with a bit of breathing space. And now the United Arab Emirates have all to do after 16 minutes of the game. 17-10, it stands.
One score it is. Namibia was struck early. They've woken up and responded strong, managing to score twice and restricting the UAE to just simple visits in their 22. They need to keep their discipline in check, but the UAE also need to respond before we get to the first quarter of this game.
Well, we did speak about the discipline for the UAE. The other thing that they need to work on is their conditioning. They have been known to fade out at the end of the games. That is how they ended up losing to Hong Kong. Played for, well, the better part of the hour and then faded away. And Hong Kong had an easy walk through to the end. Well, question is, will they be able to keep it up here against Namibia, who are already in the lead? You don't want to be chasing the game and can't trust the gas in your tank. Easy release as the fans continue to make their way here to the Mandela National Stadium. An easy bounce here. That ball is left to roll out. Now that is dangerous there for UAE.
It's a bit of a breeze. It's beginning to pick up. It's coming from the lake side, Lake Victoria, towards the city, towards the hills. And when you're kicking with the wind behind you, you need to be very careful. He pumps it straight over, and then it rolls inside the 22 into touch and goal. It's going to be a scrum for Namibia. It's one of the easiest decisions I've ever seen the teams make.
So scrum it is. As they prepare to feed the ball in here, Namibia, a team that has definitely had to overcome a lot of challenges and changes in 2025. Their captain in 2024, national team captain and Saracens player Jax Berger, stepping up to take on the head coach role, as well as director of rugby, after the resignation of Botha just weeks before the Africa Cup, that somehow still found their way to the final, losing out there to Namibia. That is to the Sables of Zimbabwe. Now they have their work cut out if they are to make it back to the World Cup.
And Namibia have gone through that transition, but they've still shown that they have a bit of quality above the rest of the continent. Zimbabwe, of course, closed that gap, but the rest of the teams were no match. That final was different gravy. It's a bit of a contrast with how Asia play their championship. While it's knockout in Africa, in Asia it's a round robin, and that's how the UAE finished second.
Plays a different atmosphere to this particular game as the line out is delivered. This could be a good opportunity here for Namibia once again to plug away, and using the rolling maul once again. It is still the man in Torsten who has the ball. And another celebration here. Same trick, same technique, and still United Arab Emirates are falling prey to the man's antics.
There's no substitute for such power and skill when it comes to the set piece. You're either good at it, you either find a solution to it, or you'll struggle. And that's what's happening to the UAE. Namibia go up in the air, bring the ball down, and almost immediately Jan Varsveld is there, puts the ball just in his pocket on the side of the arm, carries it at the back, the forwards giving him that shield and cover. And at that point, once you have that momentum, the UAE were passengers. Jan Varsveld touches down for an easy score, I should say.
Conversion. Well, this one won't count, but at the end of the day, it still is slowly beginning to look like Namibia pulling miles away from the United Arab Emirates, who, by the way, have been on a high. Because if you look at the rankings, Namibia at the moment dropped to 25th in the World Rugby global rankings, while UAE are definitely at a record high of 39, having risen 40 places since the start of the year. And this particular match, of course, with big permutations, depending on how it ends, Namibia unlikely to improve their ranking, but if they are defeated, could drop to a new low of 30th, while the UAE, should they win, could actually move as high as 36th. And if they win by more than 15 points, then they could go as high as 34th. But with the current scoreline, well, that is really looking like a Herculean task ahead of them. Spaced out, looking to get into the 10 of Namibia. Spaced away, getting that ball passed out. This is brilliant stuff, and now it's going to be a road race. Made the chicken pass. It was a chicken wing pass there. Could have worked, but ultimately ends justify the means. Try time for the United Arab Emirates. Well, that almost looked like a very wrong decision when he could have gone for a try and then made the pass back in. But in the end, well, it serves the purpose.
Risky business for the UAE. They've now known how to strike Namibia. Set pieces might not be the solution. Open play it is. Ball is dropped. It pops back on the side of the team in green UAE and just shuffled through the hands. Give it to the man with pace on the outside. Aaron Dubois it was. He's going all the way. Looks like he's going to do it alone. Gets that switch play with his winger, Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali is caught just short of the line. But look at all the players working hard to get in space. It's just the backs. Jack Stepley, we mentioned his contribution coming in and his scoring ability. That is what it means.
Jack Stepley, alongside Bradley Janis and Nico Lavola, each scored 3 tries. And now he picks it up from where he left it off, and the conversion is good. Excellent kicking here. Well, looks like they're still very much in it, and this is going to be a real contest out here. Max Johnson making the conversion here. Now it's a real cut among the pigeons.
Rugby scores can be deceptive. 22-10 looks like a comfortable score, and then just 1 touchdown. It's back to game on.
3 games he played. Max Johnson did not try, did not assist, but had 22 points to his name. The conversion rate or a goal rate of 76.9. He's here, back again, making it tick. But for the moment, they have to concentrate on defense as it looks like it's hot knife through butter here for the Welvicha. Hefty tackle. Setting Danny van der Merwe on the back foot as Namibia continue to plod away. Flipped through the center. Fakes that pass there and still manages to carry it forward. Isaacs has possession. Setting it front foot here, looking to carry forward. Out onto the left. Good play here coming in from Namibia, still advancing. Dan Kobaga, last man on the ball. And now passing it on here to their captain, Prince. Set in motion. Man with the brace here, that was Torsten. Right at the edge. The try line could be an option out for them. Ooh, trying to cycle and get through the center, cutting one way, then the other. The tackle ultimately taking him down. Dan Kobaga. Still possession here for the Welvicha. UAE must keep their wits about them. Prince Moseb still drives his way. Referee ultimately awards it. Try time for Namibia.
Another brace, this time it's Richard Hartwig. Prince Moseb looked like he was going over. I thought he had touched down maybe just a blade of grass on white. But that pick and drive defense was so tiring for the UAE. They've worked hard left, right and center. And when it came back in the middle, the big men. First Prince Moseb and then Richard Hartwig picking and diving over for the try. This is very brutal rugby that is being played by Namibia. They are working hard and they are making the UAE defense work even harder.
Surgical play from the Welvicha. They know exactly what they need to do and they are putting the screw right here on UAE, who somehow need to find a break. They need to find what makes them tick. They need to get that ace in the deck for themselves, because at the moment it's just not going their way. Another look at that instance. And for the moment, the opportunity looked like it was gone, but instant switch in there. And Richard Hardwick was keeping his wits about them. That was a split move, just got it from one end, swapped to the other, and dotted down the line.
Yeah, I thought the UAE defense was slow to recycle, and experienced players like Hardwick need no second invitation in there.
Namibia is in white, the UAE is in green.
Namibia looking to make that exit from their own backyard. The ball touches over and it's line out here. Namibia managed to get the upper hand from that set play. Ooh, ball closed down. This could be a good opportunity to keep rolling in here. Can he get it and ground it? Yes, he does. Try time for UAE, and that's the fight that they need. Max Johnson closing that down. One-man wrecking ball. Make sure that he keeps the ticker ticking here for UAE. Well, there's nothing that beats putting the body on the line. That was sheer grit.
Max Johnson reading his opposite number beautifully, knows they're going for that exit kick, charges him down. The footballing skills, kicks it just ahead. Once he got over the line, all you have to do is apply pressure to it, and that's what he does. Max Johnson, and this is credit to Rugby Asia 247 for this insight. Talked about his contribution coming into this squad, and it's beginning to pay dividends. He has been kicking beautifully, and now he has also taken part in the scoring.
Well, UAE, who have never qualified for the World Cup, are definitely out here keeping their heart in the ring for that tournament that will be in Dubai, the final qualification tournament that will be in Dubai from the 8th to the 18th of November.
Yeah, the Emirates sports facility is very good. The Sevens Stadium, beautiful. We've seen the Dubai Sevens get played there. And of course, the final qualification tournament is more popularly known as the repechage. The best of the best go out there and they're playing at such beautiful facilities. But as well here in Uganda, look at the Mandela National Stadium, so pristine.
Immaculate, you could definitely say. from the onset, looks like a venue that would host a lovely picnic as opposed to the brute force and the wheat that is normally put on it. It's a real battle out in there, but looking at how calm it looks, you would never tell just how much pain has to go into that turf. Brilliant pass in there. Seamless. Skips away from one marker, skips away from a second. This is now a contest from Namibia, really turning on Alcino Isaacs as the ball is now passed on to Tien de Klerk. Namibia continue to venture forward, keeping their wits about them. Looks like plenty of adjustments have been made. Well, for all there would be weaknesses, and that is adjudged as a knock-on, but that quite clearly could have been something very different had Muhammad Ali managed to keep his grit on that ball.
Yeah, Namibia being a bit sloppy with the ball, trying to go for that extra pass, for that wonderful pass out wide, but UAE, yet again, their discipline coming to hurt them. They were applying pressure on Namibia, but the defense crept up forward, they crept up offside, and they've given another penalty. I'm thinking at this point, given how the score has been seesaw, I'll be thinking Namibia are going to go for points, but they're saying no, let's take the 5. We need the tries.
Well, that's what you need from your team. You definitely want them to back their ability, especially in that position. It would be easier to go for the 3, but at this point, they definitely feel like they definitely need a whole scoreline for them, and you have to back their mental fortitude to go for it.
Yeah, Van Jaarsveld has been throwing well in the lineout. The lineouts have been good, but he has also been mauling well. So let's see if they can repeat that with the big man at the back.
Once again, looking to get into the thick of things. He has the ball here. Van Jaarsveld, quick release. Looking to get the rest of the big lads onto the ball. Namibia haven't really had a lot from the backs to do. It's been an all-forwards show so far. Torsten to the ground. Quick release, setting it off here for Max. Goes to the ground as well. Namibia inching forward. Ooh, charge down. That's a knock-on.
Andrew Sempo went for another intercept. We've seen UAE try to get those intercepts in, but still none is going to hand. The ball is just about lost forward. And for UAE, it's just a few seconds to breathe, and then the pressure is back up. The scrummage is one of Namibia's strong points, and they've been doing it well, not just in the Rugby Africa Cup, but as well here today. Let's see if now we've seen Vethenauer picking beautifully now. What can Richard Hardwick do with those 7 men in front of him?
Scrum locked in. Namibia this time having quite a bit of an issue matching up in strength, but they try to still forge their way forward. Trying to get back through the center here now. Strength it is, and it earns them another try. They are not relinquishing their attempts there. Oliver making sure that he now carries Namibia further forward. And, well, just a cat might have gotten my tongue in there. I was about to say UAE need to make sure they keep them away from scoring if they're to catch up.
Oliver Kaz is a big boy, and he uses that size and power to drive over. Namibia going for that second option, and then the support, the players all working hard. I thought the UAE had done enough. You drag the player with you into the try area and hold him up. You have a goal line dropout, but the defense is just not strong enough. His opposite number, Marcus Guerin, cannot stop him from grounding that ball, Oliver Kaz, and it's just another try. We've seen these tries, same exact style, apart from the very first, the forwards going to work.
The kicking is good, and we are now at 36 here for Namibia, 22 for the United Arab Emirates. And it's pretty clear that it is one technique that is arguably working here for Namibia. Brute physicality that they are utilizing to very good advantage. And for those that have been following the stats, you would have probably thought the two would be matching up when it comes to sheer strength. but it's a very different story on the pitch.
It's a very different story. The scoreboard is on the 34th minute. We have 36 points by Namibia. There are a couple from UAE, but for all those watching across the world and on NBA Sport, a point per minute is worth your time and money.
End-to-end stuff.
This is what you want to see for teams just playing with the handbrake off, going at it using their best strength. At the moment, Namibia have figured out the solution. They figured out UAE's Achilles heel. But the UAE have shown, of course, some flashes of what they are able to deliver in this match.
Taking it on, releasing quick. Namibia once again looking to advance. Good kick there coming in from Alcino Isaacs, and now they look to chess. It's going to be interesting what UAE choose to do, picking the ball and trying to keep it rolling, trying to keep it ticking in here. For the moment, Max Johnson finds himself held out here, but they still have possession. Box kick might be the best option. That's exactly what they go for.
Andrew Semple knew that his number 10 was in the rack at the bottom. Max Johnson after rescuing the UAE. But I thought that tackle on Max Johnson was a bit in an uncomfortable position. He was held in by Danny van der Merwe, but the way the contact, the way the hands were wrapped around the chest, had him tightening his neck, and I think that's what has caused him problems there.
Well, for me, it didn't look like a rugby. Well, it was a rugby tackle, but at the later stages, if you have any affiliation with mixed martial arts, that definitely looked like a neck chokehold, and no surprise that we see the medics team rushing onto the pitch here. Probably give some medical attention. We hope that that won't be something that will affect him adversely. You would not want to see a player the quality of Max Johnson having his game cut short at just 35 minutes due to injury. But 5 minutes here to halftime, and Namibia are pulling out all the stops to make sure that once again their journey to the World Cup does not end in 2025.
And Namibia know that the final qualification tournament is not a tournament you want to play. It's very difficult to win one. We've seen African countries try their luck at it. We've seen Kenya, we've seen Zimbabwe in the past. It's very difficult to win that tournament because you face the best or some of the second best in the other nations. Belgium have already qualified from Europe. We're going to see the other championships, South America and Pacific, getting to play in their own championships. It's difficult to win that 4-team tournament, and you know it's just one team that's going in that final qualification tournament in November. So Namibia wouldn't want to find themselves in that position, but they have to make do with the options that they have at their hand.
The easiest way to sum it up, those are the teams that serve most likely for one game could have very easily been the champions of their continent. So definitely not a place you want to be. Speaking of places you don't want to be, UAE once again falling prey to Torsten as they now pass the ball quickly, looking to advance once again. Max had the ball there momentarily, and now the ball having the hands of Hardwick right around it. Possession, slipping it to the flank. Prince Moseb trying to find his way to the try line. Ooh, the pass was swift but quickly picked up here, and looking to finish the job. Andre van der Berg seems to be in quite the mood today with the kicking, very feisty and quite unpredictable with his play. AJ Kins gets the ball on. Andre van der Berg
He's lost
loses the ball.
He was a bit too eager, wanted to do it himself, and he's lost the ball forward just short of the try line. Now UAE applying pressure. Look at that pace from the winger in the number 11 jersey. Muhammad Ali is quick. Namibia have come from the other try line, and look at them defending their own try line.
Well, that is exemplary play from UAE, and they're looking to wrestle that ball still open. The referee letting the contest now get physical.
Muhammad Ali is a popular name for boxers, but my oh my, this rugby player has wheels for days.
No pun intended, but he does float like a butterfly. Definitely brilliant stuff, just the way he ghosted from one end of the pitch to the other, and he packs a punch in there, holding up physical presence, denying Namibia a chance to wiggle out of their own 22. And in the end, now they have to settle for a line out.
I mean, we are just waxed lyrical about Andre van der Berg, and just one brain freeze moment has him coming from nearly scoring a try to defending his own try area. Namibia will be, especially Jack Berger, he will be shouting instructions down, let's do it as a team. We have to go through this process as a team, not as individuals.
Torsten, easy release here. And once again, good grip on that ball here from Namibia. Good hands. Skipping away from one challenge. Manages to get the release here. Ooh, handing the ball straight back here to UAE. The referee...
Yeah, it was a forward pass.
Definitely managing to spot that as Namibia were in full flight here, trying to get themselves on the front foot. Danny van der Merwe.
Interestingly, we have Jacques Benade is a namesake to his opposite man in that head coach role. He's not afraid to make the big calls, and he has made substitutions in the first half. We see a number coming on, and this time it's at the front. I think I see Epeli Devetawalu coming on. And then Moneb Gallant and Dranibota leaving. 2 changes, 38 minutes on the clock. This is one of the earliest we've seen.
Substitution time for the UAE. Peter Killian, Moneb Gallant.
Well, the other one, of course, was Max Johnson. Who had
for Max Johnson, it was a forced substitution.
It was a forced substitution in there. But with just about 2 minutes left to play in normal time, still looks like there's a bit of a gulf in class, but only just. And for Namibia, this has to be the opportunity not to take the foot off the pedal, keep the gas going, try to run down this UAE team. For UAE, I still get the feeling we haven't seen the last of them just as yet.
Yeah, but interesting bit is that I spoke to Jacques Benade and Jack Berger. Contrasting bit is that they want to minimize the number of mistakes, and as it stands, the UAE aren't making so many mistakes. It's just the Namibia are a bit too strong for them. You can see the set pieces, we can see even in open play. But on the other hand, Namibia have been a bit, I could say, sloppy. They've been a bit too relaxed. We saw just that forward pass, which has resulted into this scrum. We've seen Andre van der Berg trying to go all out on his own. It's those little mistakes that they were punished by Zimbabwe. They will be hoping that the UAE cannot capitalize, but I know for a fact that the UAE, when the opportunity comes, like it did early on in the game, they have the opportunity. They have the ability to hurt them, to hurt Namibia.
Good line out, and once again, Torsten again getting to that ball. I think his stealth has already been bust here with the way that the UAE players are looking to get to him. They already have him.
It's splintered, but I think there's a player coming in from the side. That's what the advantage is for. And look at the backs getting to work now after the forwards have earned them that free play at the stroke of halftime.
Danko Berger was the man that was feisting there, and once again, Torsten gets onto the ball. Well, he's played a mercurial role in this one, as play is ground out here, and the referee will call a halt momentarily. And there's a yellow card brandished right at the tail end of the first half. That's a yellow card shown to Matthew Mills, who's sent to the sin bin. And looks like, well, they learned nothing, forgot nothing. Leopard does not lose its spots even when it goes to Africa.
Yeah, we mentioned that the UAE's discipline was always going to hurt them, and they looked like they had done well for the first half, but unfortunately just one quick play from Namibia and they've given away the penalty. This time, Namibia not to waste any more energy, not to waste any more effort. Andre van der Berg will be going for points.
Well, we'll keep a tally on how many points will be accumulated, because as it is, they have on average conceded 9 points every time they had a player down. The first 3 already in here has Namibia take that tally to 39, and it's the end of the action in this first stanza of the game. The Belvicha putting not a foot wrong and looking to put more gas at the front than in their defense. It's all hands on deck as they look to get back. that position secured for the World Cup, or at least for a chance to vie for a slot at the World Cup. At halftime, they have the upper hand, they have the numerical advantage, and are looking primed to drive the game to the very end. For UAE, a lot of niggles, a lot of tweaks needed if they are to get themselves back into this particular game. Halftime at the World Cup qualifier for the men's Australia 2027. It's Namibia's well. Second half set to get underway here at the Mandela National Stadium, and for the team in green, the team known as the United Arab Emirates, it's all to do for, as it has been nothing short of a tricky spell in the first 40 minutes for them. Welcome back to the Mandela National Stadium, and it is second half that gets underway, and Namibia are up against it as they are in the lead, 39-22. Jermaine Egesa here, Anista Korebirunji with me in the commentary booth for the final 40 minutes, unless something very dramatic happens.
Yeah, lots of drama would have to have happened for us to go into an extra time spell. But I know the UAE, they are a man down. They are a man down owing to that yellow card at the end of the first half. But they have come from the tunnel, they have come from the changing room in a different shape. Looks like that's how they started the first half, starting strong, looking to strike hard, but Namibia are keeping it tight.
Possession for UAE, trying to match the physicality of Namibia. Namibia have purely been dominant when it comes to physical contests here. And now trying to whip up some speed, but quickly caught in stride here.
I thought there was a player leading with their elbow, and you can see the water carrier on the touchline trying to signal to the assistant referee. Jürgen Meyer put his hand out a bit. Could say it's just a little bit of contact. I mean, in the eyes of the referee, Amy Barreteron is the most experienced that we have. She's going to the Rugby World Cup in a few days. She for sure had a good look at it, and the referees have decided play on.
Well, attempting to weave back and forth here. Adrian Boyson. There's a chance here, setting the ball in motion, trying to skip past here. That's a good line break, and now they will go all the way to the try line. UAE not giving the chase. It's done for them on this one. Aston, who was flown in as a replacement for one of the injured players, makes the contribution telling here for Namibia.
Aston Mukwilongo almost out of nothing. Namibia work the ball from the line out, they work it upwards to the other wing, and he just squeezes through the small man, squeezes through the line of defense, and there was no one chasing him for the touchdown.
There's going to be no way of explaining that. That was sloppy. In whatever way you look at it, that defense really slipping on the job, as the conversion is quite aptly a good one. And Namibia extend their lead. UAE momentarily taking their eye off the ball. They had three men, and he still breezed past them. In the end, it looked like a stroll in the park.
It was too easy, especially after the break. Both teams have had enough rest. Both teams are in the best shape. But Mukwilongo made it look so easy. It's like he was the Flash, just speeding through that defense.
Namibia pick it up here from the kickoff, and once again, you looking to use that maul. For the moment, UAE holding solid. They do have possession. Max has the ball.
I mean, the forwards have all been beaten, and at that time it was the captain Andrew Sempo defending a maul. 4 men against 1 backliner. That's very smart from the winger. Vola put his foot out. It's not a knock-on. You can play the ball with your feet. And he has won the turnover for UAE.
Now they try to break the line here. Max Johnson finding himself caught in a dash straight as they get the ball once again rolling. This is good play from Nysel. Looks like he might be in a bit of pain here. Nysel has been one of those players that has really been putting in a solid shift for UAE.
Sakiusa Naisau had that space on the outside. Max Johnson able to recover from that scare in the first half. Wins the ball back, carries into contact. It's reshuffled quickly back to the short side. The defenses are usually rushing out wide to cover those spaces, but then they keep the blind side unwatched. That is where UAE decided to go, but Namibia kept 1 man just on the outside, and Naisau was forced into touch.
Looks like they do have a player who's a bit winded there, and does require some medical attention here as the rest of the Namibian team do gather around him. It's a moment to catch their breath, and true to the good, or true to the form, still suffering that numerical disadvantage, and the points have already reeled in 3. 3 at the end of the first half, and another 7, so making a collection of 10 before they can actually have the player that was seen being who's getting set to get back onto the pitch.
Yeah, there's that tackle from Maya, and nice how maybe twisted his ankle on the floor, but he's back on his feet, so that's a good thing.
Excellent line out, from Namibia. Looking to use that maul once again, and it just looks like United Arab Emirates have still failed to find the answer to that predicament. Box kick to gain territory. Quickly picking it up here. Vola passing it on here to Max Johnson, who's dragged back within his 22 and has to relinquish possession quickly. Just can't seem to get away. The pack mentality here of the Velvicha working well for them as they force a turnover. Now they have possession and trying to sprint their way towards the try line. There'll be no stopping them, and once again, try time for the Velvicha. They are matching everything United Arab Emirates are throwing at them and more. And this time, it is Danny van der Merwe who goes to the try line and adds points for the Namibia's team.
Defense into attack, quick shuffle of the ball through the backs. Just 12, 13, 14, and Danny van der Merwe knows that he has the pace to burn on the outside. I noticed just out of shot, it is Naisau still on the floor in the corner. You can see him just by the corner flag under the scoreboard. Naisau is being attended to. This is even more worrying for the UAE. The score is well into the 50s, and they are going to have to play the remainder of the game without one of their power players in the midfield.
Well, that is if he doesn't get back onto the pitch, because he's definitely been one of those that has consistently tried to shore up that defense as the points tick in. We're looking at a 20. No, this is actually a 31-point difference.
A little bit of mathematics in there for you, Jermaine.
I don't know. My mind just wasn't agreeing with the fact that it could be 30. It seemed to think a 20-point is probably acceptable. But 31 is, really, really cutting their cloth too short.
I'll tell you one thing. We saw that Namibia flag. Namibia didn't have the best of support in the Rugby Africa Cup. The Zimbabweans brought a certain energy that swayed the fans their way. The Sabres enjoyed that support from the local fans. But Rugby Africa, and we saw that message from the president, Herbert Mensah, willing and wishing the Namibians the very best and hoping that they can go all the way to qualify. And the local fans have not been left behind as well. They are in there with the Namibian flag supporting a fellow African team. It would be such a historic thing to have 3 African teams at the Rugby World Cup. And as it stands right now, Namibia are one step closer.
Ahmad Kobrink is set to step in here for Namibia, and out will go Torsten, who's had a very brilliant game so far. But it looks like he's played his part in this one and will be taken off for the moment.
I think this is the captain, Chris Auseb. He has to wear contacts, and the medics and the teammates trying to provide a shield for him to wear his contact lenses. I spoke to him before the final of the Rugby Africa Cup, and he's an interesting man. You know, he plays his rugby in Steaua Bucharest. But one of the things that he was really, really excited about was he said he wanted to meet the Minister of Finance of Uganda, one of the popular TikTok characters. I didn't know that Auseb had that light side about him, and I was very excited when he mentioned it.
Well, there'll be nothing light about the man who's also just been introduced into the game. In the place of Jason Barade, it's the tough tackling Haitembo Shikufa, who's been thrown into the deep end. Shot 17 coming in for Namibia.
Also on is Adrian Ludik. Now the big men have put on their shift. Substitutions made around the 45th minute mark. You could say it's a bit too early, but it's also just right in timing. You know, they have emptied the tank, came on. The other players who are in the substitutes have had some time to warm, and then they just get in, apply more pressure. The score is also a bit comfortable for the UAE, for Namibia against the UAE, so they can pull these triggers, they can make those substitutions at will. Yeah, it's pressure. UAE have pulled that move where you just pull out a bit from the scrum, and Namibia have given away a free kick, and now it's just a free play. But just remember, they are still down a man, and that is how they are getting exposed. The UAE, the forwards, the backs had to sacrifice Naisau is still fighting. He's still on the playing field. Had to sacrifice him. He goes inside to that scrum. Free kick taken quickly. Goes out to the backs. And the ball carrier is isolated. Good defense from Namibia. They are making use of that power play.
Big kick here, but yields nothing for Namibia. You have to give props here to the chaser, who had hoped to make something work out of there, Jegenmeyer.
We saw in the first half, the breeze. By the time it was kickoff, there was no breeze, but conditions have changed. The breeze has forced, we saw it in the first half against UAE, it's now in the second half against Namibia. The breeze has forced that ball into touch, and you come from getting a line out in good territory to defending a scrum inside your own half.
Clive and Lobson didn't play a long part in today's game, already taken out, and that's where Aston Quilongo, who's already gotten a try to his name, came in his spot. Quick flurry of substitutions, as Ernest pointed out early. Was no fear in making those changes pretty quick here for Namibia. And now the kick and chase is on. Unpredictable bounce that looked photogenic if they were going to get it, but ultimately it's adjudged as a knock-on. And UAE will be gnashing their teeth in here.
Yeah, ball was lost
so
forward.
Close.
Ball lost forward on the chase. UAE have realized that Namibia have that sharp press, and they're going to use those cheeky little kicks, that chip and chase. Get a player running from a short line, a bit flat, marginally onside. Chase that ball, put it out there, make it a good contest. They were close, but the handling error.
Well, if the clock is something to believe, it should by now signal a return to full strength for UAE. Just wait to get confirmation there. If Matthew Mills is back on the pitch, was the player that was sent to the sin bin. At the moment, the referee still explaining a few. There you go. Is back on. The sin bin is done, so back to full numbers. It's expected here. And in his absence, true to form, has been quite the pummeling over the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, their discipline hurt them in the Asia Championship, and Namibia have also made do in that period. They've scored 3 tries in just 10 minutes. Yeah, and we mentioned it the first time that the UAE have pulled out a bit. You can only pull that move once, where you're going for the scrum. Referee says bind, and instead of bind and set, instead of just contesting, you pull out just a bit. Looks like the other team is shoving a bit too early, gives away the free kick. But this time the referee is aware and sees it and knows that they've pulled out just a bit and gives the free kick to Namibia.
Picking up the ball, Vola tried to get the restart here, but finds himself clutched here by a real vice-like grip. Now they'll try to build from deep. MOC finds himself in a spot of bother as the ball is lost out here, and the turnover is complete here for the Belvicha. That's probably something that we've seen, like a sense of deja vu, quite often, that they keep losing the ball in that situation.
Max Johnson is really smart. Looking for his opposite number, knows that he's going to go for the kick, charges it down.
Picked up quick and now trying to drive the agenda here. Max Katejiko gets the ball through, looking for support here in the clock. Van der Berg now to the captain. Prince in possession.
That ruck speed is at a breakneck speed. See how quickly the Namibians reshuffle the ball. Now they've got into the 22. The forwards are taking their time, but my, they were playing a really fast game.
Aston Quilongo releasing the ball quicker now. Once again, Namibia looking to prowl their way forward. Good handling there from Max to retain possession. as they look to set themselves on the front foot. Once again, Prince gets the ball set to the flank, trying to batter their way towards the try line. There's no receding here from the Belgian. They're just inches away from the desired place to be. Going to the ground, opportunity spun out. The inevitable happening once again. Try time for Namibia.
Defense is tiring, and Namibia know this all too well. The big men are going to work. Mukwilongo, substitute number 9, is playing a very fast ruck speed, recycling that ball left, right. And when they got just in front of the uprights, Adrian Ludik, right place, right time, the defense is slow to recycle. They are evidently tired. Try is scored easy.
Well, even if they're tired, you'll get to say they've gotten the dividends for their hard work in here. It's all working according to the plan. And that lead is set to get extended even further. The question is now, what do United Arab Emirates still have to offer in this context? Because, well, it's slowly stopping to look like a contest and looking like one-way traffic at this rate.
Version is good. And I must say at this point, if you're UAE, you're looking at saving face 60-22. Standing towards the record score. Standing towards the record score at this point, you want to put up a defense that will give Namibia something to think about when they go to your own backyard. Maybe get a few of your players on, give them some good game time as they continue to build that experience and that quality in depth, because Namibia have been to the World Cup since 1999. They've not missed, and you can tell it's evident in this just the girth and quality that they have at this point. So for me, I think the UAE, this is an opportunity. They've come close to qualifying for the World Cup. They are playing in a final qualification in an Asia-Africa playoff. It's an opportunity for them. Maybe next time they will come even closer.
Hefty challenge, but taking it on the chin and able to soldier on. That was brilliant play coming in from MLC. Does get himself into the referee's favors here as there's infringement by Namibia.
Emosi Vethenawa is a big ball carrier. We saw his try. Nobody could put him down. This time it took 4 men to bring him down, and then the defense is slow to roll away. UAE are really, really smart about it. They know that the referee is going to reward them for that quick recycling of the ball, and they win that penalty tackle and rolling away.
They do put that into touch, and a couple of changes here reeled in by Namibia, throwing on some huge men. That was the substitute that was promised earlier, Haitembu Shikufa, coming in, as well as Ryan Groove.
We'll talk about this set piece. Halftime statistics from Isametrics show that UAE retained just 2 out of 5 of their throws. This is a good launch pad for them, but they need to be clinical at the front.
Well, they do manage to retain possession this time, and now trying to get big tackle there, coming in from MOC. UAE retaining possession. Now trying to use the pack mentality to get themselves to the front foot. They roll away. Now within the 22. Opportunity here. Sending that flying. Well, looks like there was no way besides them. Looked left, looked right, and then said, well, when the going gets tough, go through the center and let them bury it. UAE in possession. Nice chance to go forward. Brad Janis has possession, carries the ball a couple of meters forward. And now looking to swing it, but handing the initiative straight back to the opposition.
Adrian Ludik. The ball was thrown straight into his hands by Andrew Semple, but he couldn't gather. It was that pace, Andrew Semple looking to run a sub 1 second rack. Goes to the short side, and Ludik is not able to gather. Look at the pace on that ball, the power as well on the face. Had it gone to hand, maybe Vola Vola would have had a chance at the try line.
It was a chance here for Amosi as well to attempt to go all the way. We all know how much he's been formidable, especially with those one-on-one challenges. Namibia set to make a couple more changes in just a couple of minutes here. all are set to come off, as well as Tian's already off the club. Moved in, chance skipped out here now, close the try line. UAE still have possession. The referee looks to stop that.
He's touching his pockets, the referee.
And it's a yellow card brandished here for Namibia.
Ferreira is taking no prisoners. Very strict with discipline in this match. And you know, one of the things is that he has allowed the contest at the breakdown, has allowed the teams to go at it, but he's not going to be taking any cynical plays. There's a AJ Kans, does not release, does not roll away, and he gives away a penalty, and the UAE will be striking hard.
Well, instantly looking to make Namibia pay as they are man down. They do get themselves a try here. Can this be the beginning of a comeback? Can these 10 minutes signal a change in play? And that will be a worrying sign when they're already a man down and it's their captain, Prince Oseb, who stays on the ground. Substitution here. Quiron Majid is introduced to the fray. But that's a worrying sign when you see the captain staying on the ground. He's as hard as nails and not one to stay on the ground for the occasion.
Prince Oseb has had a brilliant tournament in Kampala. From the time Namibia arrived, they were the last team to get here. They will be the last team to depart. And he has been leading his team from the front. UAE have struck hard, and unfortunately he's on the floor being attended to. But you talk about Vethenawa. What a big ball carrier. And this is his second try. He's a powerful man, very hard to stop even for the big Namibians.
Making it 60 for Namibia, 29.
So 29-60 it stands as we get another look at the incident and just trying to see what exactly happened there to Prince Oseb. Not quite sure what led to that as the try was launched in there.
To be replaced by number 22, Quiron Majid.
Pretty surprising. Well, it's interesting to see if he'll be able to carry on for the remainder of the game. 29-60. Still plenty to do in this game.
Yeah, Prince Oseb is still on, still pushing the captain.
Well, wants to go down with the ship if it comes to that.
The jersey number has been ripped off. That's how you know he's been working hard.
Talk about earning your stripes. He's clearly earned his here. And is going to leave that pitch battered and bruised, but he intends to leave everything on the floor, the Mandela National Stadium. Quick exchange of passes here for UAE, and that pass is out to the flank here, trying to get Amosi into play. Finds himself a little smothered right there, and will not be able to continue. That was actually Neasol.
Yeah, there's a high tackle on him. That very first contact was above the shoulder. Looked like a seatbelt tackle at first. But he managed, just about made that little contact, tried to correct it, but we've seen Ferreira, he's not giving any second chances to players, and he has awarded that penalty. Naisau looked like he was out for the break on that wing.
UAE once again to capitalize. Remember, Namibia are down a man. Scrum half finds himself on the seat in the sin bin as now they try to make those transitions quick with some quick passes out to the flank, and now an opportunity goes for the hop step, trying to get himself in. The pass after finding himself in the proverbial cul-de-sac, and now the maul coming in. They're holding him up here for the moment, and it looks like there's no break, and they lose possession.
Bit of a smile.
Frustrating place to be there for this gentleman, Jack Stepley.
Bit of a smile from the referee. I thought the UAE found themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. You've been held up. You're trying to make the tackle, or rather collapse what has been a maul that's been called. But at that point, this is a very popular tactic in African rugby. You come in high. These are big, rugby players, they are strong rugby players. They will hold you up and they'll force that turnovers. First time we're seeing it in this Asia-Africa playoff, but we saw it many a time during the Africa Cup just a week ago. And Prisk also gets a bit of a pat on the back from the referee. He checks on him, are you able to continue with your team as the captain?
Every time you find yourself in that situation with that tactic, kind of brings back to memory the lyrics from Hotel California by the Eagles. This could be heaven, this could be hell. You're stuck in between. And there's no telling where it's going. For UAE, well, it just wasn't heaven, to be precise, and they give away possession there. Collapse in here. Fraser calling the two players or the captains here together to try and explain what is expected from them as the hour mark already exceeded here.
Namibia 60 points on the board. The clock saying 60 minutes.
A point
Per minute. But UAE have also contributed. I must say it's been a bit of a low tempo game. Maybe you could say because the stands are empty, the fans have not filled the stands as expected. But still, these two teams have given us a show that is worthy of a World Cup qualification match.
Low octane, maybe. The tempo has been really alternated between brisk passes, some speed, but a lot of physicality to make sure that they keep the game going. And now release is instant. Hard challenge here, but Namibia managed to retain possession of that peel. And now Van der Berg, Thorsen. Well, actually, that was sport there. That was being run here by Combrick. Kick and chess. They collect the ball. Well executed here, Namibia. And now a need for speed is executed. Can they finish this one off? Picks it up mid-air. And there'll be no stopping him. Try time. Aston Mkwilongo is really having a ball since he came on.
Talk about Namibia giving the UAE a taste of their own medicine. They try that chip and chase. Very simple kick. Danko Baga is chasing it. Eyes on the ball. Gathers beautifully. The tackle is made, but he makes the offload. Then his midfield partner gets to work. Isaacs puts that grabber kick through. A show of skills from the Namibians. And Mkwilongo, the bounce of the rugby ball. He knows 1, 2, 3 is low. The fourth will be up in the air. He gathers it and touches it down. Try time, Namibia.
Very fortunate with how that ball bounced right back into his arms. You would think it's magnetic and somehow was destined to be nestled within his the crook of his arm. Excellent stuff. And now they have a chance once again to extend their lead. Will be once again Andre Van der Berg stepping up here to make the conversion. That ball seems to have a mind of its own at the moment. Well, away goes the kicking tee. Just in a nick of time, executes, and it's good.
Talk about the bounce of the rugby ball. If you've seen a well-taken grabber kick, it will give a few bounces down, and then it will tip up in the air. Once that tip hits the ground, it goes up in the air. Van der Berg had to rush with his conversion. He had 3 seconds on the clock. No time to put it on the tee. Goes for the drop goal. No mistake.
Well, that looks like it's the end of the road for the skipper, Prince Moseb, having to step away. And in his place, Richard Hardwick returns to the fray.
It's an injury substitution, so you are allowed to come back on. But I thought that was only reserved for the front row players. Or maybe it could be for a head injury assessment.
For a head injury, given the way he went down. I actually think there was a run-in with the temple of his head, with his temple. And probably given the fact that he had just readjusted his contacts there, I had a feeling that might have been one of the issues why he stayed on the ground that long.
Let's talk about Max Johnson. He's been really clean when it comes to charging down kicks, knowing when and where to put his hands and position his body. Wins the turnover for the UAE as Namibia look to run it from their own 22.
Brilliant stuff. Referee here penalizing the Belvicha, who are still a man down Ball. Ooh, that bounce nearly putting them on the back foot. They still managed to retain possession. The pass, bit of a Hail Mary, but still gets the job done. Namibia not being rushed into the challenges, just taking their time, trying to mark their spots. Looking to make that kick right down the middle, right down the center aisle.
Wasn't planned. That was Andrew Sempo trying to innovate, but the UAE are being forced backwards by the Namibian defense.
Looking to mark them man for man. Even when they are man down, Namibia will have to be applauded for some steady defending here.
Tackler slot roll away, so it's a free play now for the UAE. They have the advantage, and I'm thinking this will be a full penalty because the Namibia defense is giving away nothing.
Pass good. Rolling through. Looking to get their way forward. Matthew Mills quickly impeded. Namibia giving nothing away, and United Arab Emirates having to work their backs off for even just space to get anywhere near that 22. But here comes a clean break almost. Clean only to my mind, as the defense of Namibia had other ideas.
Advantage can only be enjoyed in two ways: territorial and tactical. And the referee has recognized that the UAE have not gained any advantage with that ball. They had the possession, but they didn't gain any ground. Namibia gave away nothing, and after that handling error, back for the penalty. I'm thinking at this point, if you're UAE, the score is a bit too far. You now get an opportunity. Let's try out our moves. Let's try out what we've worked on. Let's express ourselves, and let's show what the Asian rugby is made of. They have the president, Kais, here. He's also the vice president of the UAE Rugby, and it would be a good show for them, the UAE, to go out with a bang. It looks like the score has run away, but they can put on a good show that they will be happy about, that their citizens back home will be happy about.
And that looks like the end of his moment in solitary confinement of the sin bin. AJ returns, so it's back to even numbers here for Namibia. Ooh. Ball bouncing in an awkward way. Now looking to put some strength onto this particular run. Max Katijiko gets onto that ball. Ball bubbling away, and once again they pick up possession. They have options. That was a little clumsy there, but they still managed to retain possession. The pass is excellent. This is Isaacs. Good carries. Isaacs Alcino has had a very, very good spell on the pitch today. For those that did see the Rugby Africa Cup, they'll be wondering if maybe he should have had a little more playing time. Setting it in motion once again, right through the center, and they get themselves once again to the halfway line. The Belvicha feints. Beautiful dummy it was there from Andre van der Berg, but finds himself unable to go forward as he's held and anchored down by... Ooh, now that's a clumsy challenge. Should definitely draw the referees...
Nothing wrong there, to be honest. Hand was over the ball, released and made the turnover. Now advantage, and a quick penalty taken by the UAE.
All lost forward. The referee suffering no clumsy mistakes here. And for Matthew Mills, it's been a game to quickly forget. Has been Sinbin, has lost the ball forward twice. It's really getting away from him today. 12 minutes left on the clock. 67 Namibia, 29 United Arab Emirates. Substitution. It's the end of the game here for Marcus Guerin. Injury. Medical break here afforded to Namibia as the consultation here between the referees, having a bit of a glimpse of what happened there and a quick discussion. Could be in to see a couple of changes to be instituted, but solid game so far it is, and Namibia have themselves in the front foot. No Uganda, no problem. As long as it's rugby, Well, they'll definitely be here to cheer. Not standing on the occasion as we get a bit of a glimpse of some of the finer moments in this game earlier, and that there was Matthew Mills' point of infamy.
I'll tell you what, we have referees on. One of them is Amy Barrett-Teron. She's from South Africa. She will be going to the Rugby World Cup in England. It's going to kick off on the 22nd of August. England will be taking on USA in the opening match. I've seen a number of teams release their squads. I believe right now as we speak, the Black Fans are playing the Springbok women down in South Africa. We wait for our African champions, South Africa, to name their final squad that will be going for that tournament. That is the Women's World Cup happening this year. What we are playing for right now is a place at the final qualification tournament for the 2027 Men's Rugby World Cup in Australia.
Couple of substitutions set to be made here by United Arab Emirates. It's the end of the game for, let's just get confirmation here, and a quick return in. Looks like it's an injury that's forced that substitution. A return here for Muhammad Ali to get back in. But we do see the exit of Marcus Guerin, as we did say earlier on, as well as Ryan Bernard coming off. Lucas Waddington, one of those thrown into the deep end, as well as Tobias Oakley, the utility back here, thrown in for United Arab Emirates. Passing, quick spell, now looking for the break here and trying to redeem the minutes he had in the sin bin, but big catch. That's exemplary from Naisol. He's definitely constantly had an eye for anything that goes aerial.
Naisau, he knew that AJ Kans was not going to run through him. Knows that the kick is coming, puts his hand up, catches it in the air, and look at the other big man putting it to boot. The skills have been aplenty in this match. End-to-end stuff from the two teams.
A good play there coming in from Alcino Isaacs. Gets the kick, putting the ball away. Big kick. That ball is put into touch.
The Namibians are enjoying themselves. You know, they found themselves in a difficult position, losing some of their pro players, going back to their clubs in South Africa, in Europe. But with how the match has proceeded, 10 minutes left to play, they are comfortably going to be continuing to Dubai for that final qualification tournament.
Of course, with no disrespect meant here to the United Arab Emirates, I think this contest wasn't as difficult or as grinding as they expected, because we know those bodies have definitely been through a couple of hiccups here and there. This has been probably a lot easier or a lot more comfortable for them.
Yeah, the UAE have not put on their best of shows today. They showed up maybe momentarily for like the first 20 minutes. The two teams were trading scores with each other. 19 minutes, 20 minutes, the score was 22-17. But from that point onward, even when it was 29-22, from that point onward, especially after that yellow card at the stroke of halftime, it was one-way traffic. There has been one-way traffic.
10 minutes left to play.
Another sin bin.
It's another sin bin here for UAE. They probably will sum up their performance in the game today.
It's the third yellow card awarded in this match.
One match, yeah.
But two have gone to the UAE, who have a record of giving away yellow cards, unfortunately.
And it's once again the front men who will be trimmed down. While for the rugby-crazed Ugandan fans, they'll definitely just have a ball here. It's all about enjoying themselves. And there's the man with his jack, synonymous with Uganda's rugby scene. as the ball is given away, looking to get this one rolling through. Passed in, looking to make the break here. Good attempt here, trying to get to the try line. Impeded momentarily. We still have the option to try and venture forward. Assessing options, looking left, looking right, and easiest option looks like to power their way through the center, and there'll be no stopping them. Try time once again. Aman Kobrink helps himself to a slice of the honors here, and it looks like it's now free fall for Namibia. Everybody is rolling into the party as they look to power their way to Dubai in emphatic fashion.
Namibia have found a solution to UAE, make the forwards work, isolate the best tacklers, and then just look for that half gap on the fringe. The defense is trying to reshuffle, make those short passes. And that angle from Kombrik, he had the ball in a bit of a basket just in front of him and crashes over for the try.
Kombrik with the try.
Conversion completed. Well, it was definitely going to be easier to score than to miss in that kind of positioning. And Namibia, you have to say, definitely making a good show of themselves, completing all the mistakes that they made and making corrections and adjustments and using the fact that they've been on this terrain longer than their opponents. It's given them a slight advantage, but that's where the championship medal is normally put to the test, when every advantage given is put to use.
Yeah, you have to be clinical at this point. There won't be more second chances, I should say.
Feisty performance here put on by Danny van der Merwe. Looks to be in a mood here to add to his tally already. Already has a try to his name. Box kick, excellent from AJ Kins.
He kicks it straight into touch. Not as excellent, you could say. It's a commentator's curse. Back to the line out.
Jump to the line.
Back for a line out to the mark where he kicked. But my Jermaine, it's been hot today. The sun has been unforgiving.
.28 degrees as it stands at the moment.
Feels like 30.
Well, it's one of those days where you actually feel like the device is giving you a very different temperature, because yes, I definitely would say 30 tending towards 31 as well.
I can only imagine what the players are going through, but they have just 10 minutes left to play.
In the meantime, it looks like UAE are also trying to tend their way towards 30 plus as they approach the 22 here of Namibia. Pushing that grind, trying to get their way through. It's been difficult, it's been taxing, it's been painful. Hasn't given as many yields as they would have preferred, but brilliant sidestep, sets his man rolling and gets into the 22. Good play here coming in from the United Arab Emirates scrum half, Andrew Semple. Skipper still trying to work up the mood. Ooh. Just going in there knowing that a challenge was expected and still making the brunt of it, and now breaking away, and Namibia slowly conceding. Remember, of course, at the moment UAE down to 14 men.
They will be down to 14 men until the end of the match, but they've conceded possession. These opportunities won't be many for them. You give away possession that easily after all the hard work. The players are all tired. You're down a man. There are others who are still on their knees, and now the substitutes for Namibia can strike hard. Look at the flankers getting into shape, but there is no need for them as Van der Merwe will be going for another try. But what a try-saving tackle. Then the offload to the flanker, Max Kajijeko. That's the support line that Max was running all the way. He kept alive, and he gets in on the party with his try.
Well, you can see the heaving in his breathing here, but he knew that definitely, given the space, Van der Merwe would definitely attempt to make a try, quite similar to what he did earlier on. This time, someone was allowed to the possibility, and Max was lying in wait, just making that support run and putting the icing on the cake. Exclamation point, 79-29, one-way traffic.
A whole half century of points conversion to come. we can say it's been one-sided. We can say it's a dominant display from the Velvicia. And despite the hard work of Nico Volavola, the try was scored. Now the conversion goes off the upright.
Win some, miss some. At the end of the day, Namibia putting on a clinic here for the United Arab Emirates, and really just proving that there's quite a bit of a distance for the UAE to go to get to their level in quality. They have hardly put a foot wrong. You would be hard-pressed that even in the fact that they had a yellow card in this game, it still didn't feel like they had done anything to deserve being second best in this game. Excellent reception here from Namibia. And once again looking to put that maul to use. Technique that worked brilliantly for them in the earlier stages of the game. A ball eventually peeled off. Now they lose possession, but they do still have it. And now here comes a chance to venture forward, skipping away from one challenge, skipping a second. Quiron Magic has the ball, quickly brought to the ground. One of the late replacements that was flown in for Namibia. To the flank. Once again, looking to make that break, looking for that pass on the flank. But that ball just bouncing one way, then the other, and the turnover was completed.
Third legs for the UAE.
Charge down and forcing forcing the UAE to relinquish possession.
Yeah, there's advantage for that knock on earlier. You know, Jermaine, this is an opportunity for us to talk about Ugandan rugby and what we have to offer. You know, the whole of world rugby is watching. The National 7 Series kicks off next weekend. But before that, we had our own Premiership, the 15th Premiership. An exciting tournament that's played by 12 teams. And lots of age-grade rugby, schools rugby in there. I could say the international scene knows Uganda mainly for sevens, with the likes of Philip Okorach and Michael Okorach through the years.
Casito.
All those gallant men who have flown the Ugandan flag so high, they've tried their chance at the 15s, hasn't been successful. But now is an opportunity for us, starting this very weekend that's coming with the 7 Series, an opportunity for those who are going to run and take on the mantle after them to make their first chapters on the local scene.
7 stops, 7 opportunities to get a glimpse of what the future could hold. 7 opportunities to stamp their names in Ugandan rugby folklore. And it all starts next weekend with the Kabaka Coronation Sevens. It's definitely going to be some very interesting weeks ahead of rugby, weekend after weekend. And also an opportunity for those that will not be in Uganda or who will be joining us in Uganda to explore the country, as it will be going from every single corner of the nation.
I'll tell you one more thing. This has been such a perfect, I should say, display from Uganda. The Mandela National Stadium has been immaculate. Only positive feedback we've got from the participating teams, and the UAE as well. They've been happy with the surface and what they've found here, how they've been taken care of, the accommodation and the hotel. They've enjoyed their time there. I'm thinking we've hosted the Rugby Africa Cup Uganda for the past 2 years. We've had a 7 Series F7 Cup in there in 2022. But you look around and you're thinking maybe we need to have another tournament so that we can show the rest of the world what we've got.
Well, would it be hard-pressed to actually manage to get that one, as the player here who seems to have quite the shoulder pain. That is...
looks like Vola Vola.
Yeah, it is Vola Vola, Nico. Shot 14, who's, for lack of a better word, put in his shift.
Yeah, he has put in a good shift for the UAE. It's 79 minutes that have been played. Namibia have 79. They score. They go a minute per game. It's a difficult report to take back home, but the UAE have to be happy about thus far they've come in this Rugby World Cup campaign.
Namibia not relinquishing their grip on the game, skipping. Quiron Majik here with some very antsy play. He has fire in his belly. Probably not happy with the fact that he was left home in the selection for the Rugby Africa 2025. And when he was flown in and given an opportunity, he wants to prove to everybody that he deserved to be here.
Look at that carry. Bumps off the player from the side. Looks like a shoulder to the chest. But the Namibians had a free play. And I think now the clock is well close to the 80s. We wait that hoot. Wait that hoot, and then we get to see who will come out with the final say in this match. Is it going to be UAE working from inside their own 22? Is it going to be Namibia? There goes the hooter. Is it going to be Namibia putting the cherry on what has been a sweet and soft ice cake? There's the rolling maul from the line out. The Namibians have gone to work. UAE have been caught away, and the try is awarded the final say in this match. A bit of a shake of the head. But that's been the story of this match. Namibia putting brawn ahead of brain, but there's a bit of science and magic to that set piece. Line out, rolling maul. You reach the try line, you touch it down.
Armand Combrick with that particular try. You'll run out of idioms to say it here. The final nail in the coffin, the straw that broke the camel's back, the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top. Call it whatever you will. It is absolutely certain and will be written. Namibia dismantling, annihilating, ruthlessly putting United Arab Emirates to the sword. And probably fated so, or according to the story script here, the conversion and the final points on the tally locked in for Namibia. They've definitely left no stone unturned and left nothing to chance. It's been brutal, it's been cold-hearted, it's been premeditated. They knew what they had to do, and they just made sure that they had to remind everybody of the class that they do bear ahead of that tournament in Dubai in November.
Three teams from each pool qualify directly to the World Cup in 2027. We've been working towards getting those remaining 4 to fill that one space. Zimbabwe beat Namibia to qualify, but Namibia have recovered and recovered in such fashion. They join now Belgium. And then we await to see the other 2 teams who will play in that final qualification tournament in Dubai. Hats off to Namibia, but still a round of applause to UAE for coming in and scoring those 29 points. They put up a fight, but unfortunately it wasn't enough.
Gallant showing from UAE, but they'll have to go back to the board and once again make the plans as they still attempt to find their very first ticket to the Rugby World Cup. It will not be the one in Australia in 2027. Full time right here at the Mandela National Stadium. It is the Namibia Velvicha 86, United Arab Emirates 29. And we now cross over to the coaches.
Jacques, it's been a difficult for you, but the guys bounced back in a perfect way today.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really tough week. First off, it's been a tough week for us. I mean, but it shows again, like, we make so many mistakes. We let people in, we score, we let them in, we score, we let them in. If we can just manage the game better, you know, and just be a bit more mature in the way we play, it's going to be tough to beat us, you know. And the great thing is it shows where African rugby is at the moment. You know, there's obviously Zimbabwe deserve to qualify, and we've got another shot, and we deserve that today. A lot to work on, but we'll definitely get back to the drawing board and make sure we're better next time.
A positive thing today is the guys that came in this week to play in this match after you lost so many players put their hand up and showed they wanted to play and they can play.
100%. You know, it's a week of hurt, and we lost a lot of players, and everybody we called, everybody we put up, we gave a call, said yes, great, we want to be involved. And with a short amount of time together, they came up and they put their hand up. So again, I mean, there's so many points that's still out there. You know, we can be so much better. A lot of small mistakes, a lot of errors that cost us dearly. But we will work on that and we get better. But yeah, I'm happy with the win.
And briefly, now over 3 months to work towards Dubai. You're confident that it'll give you enough time to go to Dubai and be very competitive in what's going to be a tough tournament?
Yeah, it's going to be extremely tough against some tough opposition. Obviously, 3 months, all the players will go back to their clubs, you know, so it's going to be the preparation time does make it a little bit tough, but we asked for a second shot. We've got a second shot. Now we're going to make it work, and we'll do that. You know, whatever we need to show people that the character in this team, and with our backs against the wall, we'll fight for that last spot. I promise you that. Right. Thanks, David. Thank you very much.